Hey everybody, so today I'm going to be showing off my Codetalker Firewall Dragon deck list. This is like my rogue hipster pick for this format because all the other decks are not fun and this is the only based one. So it's by no means like the best deck, it's just what I've been having fun with and I just wanted to show it off because I think it's a good sign. So we're going to get right into the main deck here. So we'll start with our monster lineup. So we got 3 Firewall Defensor. This is probably the best normal summon in the whole deck because you just summon it, you immediately link it off, and then it gets you to one of the other Firewall guys. I play the 1 Phantom to go along with it, which gets you to your Codec because you link it off and then discard, and you get to the Codec really easily. And then you also play Guardian. This card I've been on and off playing because there's some scenarios where it's really bad to draw. But there's also scenarios where you really need it because you'll have weird hands where you have to reborn one of the other Firewall guys, and you can't go full combo with by reborning Phantom because it's level 5. So he's still there, but you could definitely cut it if you wanted to. But that's the Firewall package. So then you play our other normal summons. So you play the 3 debug. It's still super good normal, but it definitely got dethroned by Defensor. It's a little bit more fragile because if they imperm ash this, it's a lot harder to get to Codec if you don't just hard draw it. But it's still super good. I still think it's definitely a 3 of. You just do need to be a little more careful. Also, it's a little harder to go full combo because you do need like 1 or 2 extenders to get to your full combo plus the Ibly lock. Speaking of which, we do play the 1 Ibly. There are versions of this deck where you play 3. I decided to just play the 1 because I feel like opening it doesn't feel awesome with the end board that I go for. Sometimes if you open it and you have enough extenders, you can just do it early, that way you don't get nibbed, but it doesn't always feel the best, and I feel like it's a lot more fragile of a line than starting with Defensor or your debug. So that's why I just played the 1. And then, so that's all of like our normal summons for the deck, and then you play all the coder guys. So you play the micro coder, which is your link from hand. It also gets you to Codec super easily, so it's super good card. I would always play this at 3. And then you play the code generator. Some people play this at 2. I decided to just play the 1 so that way I can make a bit more space for non-engine, and it's been working out just fine. So this one gets you a Foolish for a Cybers, and then if it's on board, you can just add it instead, but it's almost never going to be on board, and the Foolish is fine enough since you're sending your Dotscaper normally. And then you also play Code Exporter. This is a very cuttable card. I just play it since it's a search target, but when you link it off from hand for a Codetalker, it gets you, you can add a Cybers back from your graveyard. So it's not awful. You could also think about playing the Code Radiator, the water one. I'm not playing it because it doesn't really extend your plays at all. All it is just a negate and send to 0. You could definitely play it though. I would play 1 if you think about it, because at 3 it's just you're just gonna be bricking. So then after that we just play a bunch of extenders because that's pretty much all. It's a Cybers deck. All you're doing is just special summoning constantly. So you play your 2 Exceed as your win target. It's Exceed, it's a Cybers deck, it's almost mandatory. And then you also play Link Infraflyer as another win target. It's just free specials all around. You play the Gachiri, so this is one of your Earth targets. It is also, if you link it off, it can make one of your guys unaffected, which is super nice. You just get a big old towers going. And then for your other Earth target, you play your Dotscaper. So this is what you're sending off of your code generator. Since it just reborns itself, you're almost never searching this. You also really don't want to see it in hand, because if you don't see it with Phantom or Mining, then it's just kind of stuck in your hand, and then your plays end up being really weird because you have to play without that extender. Then we also play Backup Secretary as a light. It's just a free special. And then you play Cybers Converter. It's a light. It's also good to note that it's level 2, so if you end up going into a gride game and you need to make Talkback Lancer, you got this guy on your side. And then for a dark, you play the EMP. So for a while, I wasn't playing any dark extender, but there are weird hands and lines where, especially if you start with debug, you do really need a dark extender, especially if you hard draw the Ibly. So this is there just for that. It's also pretty good removal. A lot of people forget about the removal part of it, where you can just bounce a guy if you link off a link 2, and it can definitely sneak up on people. It happened a couple times at locals. So that's your monster lineup, and then for spells, you play the 3 mining, which is pretty much almost mandatory. It's a Cyber deck. This is your Rhoda, so definitely a 3 of. You play the 1 Sanctuary because you are planning on Ibly locking. This helps so they can't out the Ibly, the only base Floodgate. And then you play 1 Kodak. So this is definitely a card you can consider playing at 3. I was playing it at 3 for a while, but then I realized you have so many different ways to get you to Kodak. Defensor is Kodak, Lady Debug is Kodak, Microcoder is Kodak. So I didn't feel like I needed to play 3, especially, like I said, you have so many ways to get into it. I think it's fine at 1. It's been working out just fine at 1. And then for the last spell trap you play the 1 Conflict, which is just your in-archetype imperm. It also banishes, and it helps play around stuff like evenly and stuff like that, because it's negates everything with the card's name. So if you banish evenly, let's say you got a second one, not going to do anything against you. You got your Conflict, so you're going to be just fine. So after that, we have the non-engine. So microcoder, Codetalker decks historically have never really been able to hold a lot of non-engine. Normally you get like 3-4 slots at best if you're trying to play 40. But with new cards like Defensor and stuff, you have so much more room. I play 12 non-engine, and it's been working like a charm, so we'll get right into that. So I play the 3 Droll. This is just such a good card, especially right now, especially since this is pretty much just my locals deck. A lot of people are playing rogue matchups. Sometimes this is just a turn skip. It's pretty nice. And then you play your 3 Crossout. So this deck loses really hard to like Nibiru, Droll hurts, Shifter hurts. So you play this just as another way to hopefully save your ass, pretty much. And then you play 2 talents. So I mean, it's just talents. There's not really a whole lot to say. You could definitely bump it up to 3 if you wanted. I've been doing fine with just 2. And then you play a couple of crossout targets. I used to play way more, and I realized a lot of them were just kind of situational and went right into the side. They fit in pretty nice. So you play the 1 Imperm as a crossout target. Also, it's just Imperm. You draw it. It's good. You play your Ash, and then you also play the Bibiru himself. This is the hand trap lineup. Non-engine lineup, and then for the 40th card, I just decided to play an Upstart because I didn't really have anything I wanted to put there. Definitely could have been the 3rd talents. No, I didn't feel like it. It also just pretty much makes it a 39 card list. The one thing I was worried about is the extra life points. I was worried about not being able to OTK if you're doing Terahertz and then access code, and then I remembered how to do math and realized that both of them are dealing about 10,000 damage if you're OTKing, so you'll be just fine. But that is the main deck, so we'll get right into the extra here. So the extra is just a bunch of links. Obviously, you're playing Codetalker, that's how it works. The only non-link you play is your Desave Worm, which is what you send off a Terahertz. It gives you a Spell Trap Negate. So now we'll get right into the links here. So for either you play 1/6, you play Singularity. It's not like a crazy card. All it does, it's a reborn. If something gets sent from a zone that it points to, you're normally reborning a transcode to protect your board even more than it already is. It's also a bounce, but you only really get 1 bounce from it because you only play 1 non-link monster. So it's alright. It's super good, especially since you normally put it in the EMZ, so now your opponent has to play around your EMZ, or your Singularity zones to make sure that you don't get guys back from your grave. So then you play a 5, you play Terahertz. It's OTK machine. It's what you send your Desave Worm with. It also plays really good around Tenpai, which I've been seeing a lot because it negates monster effects in the battle phase, and it's Tenpai, their battle phase is their main phase. So super good card, really love him. He's part of your end board. Then for 4s, you play OG Firewall. Even with the errata, this card is still super good in this deck. It's a free special, it's a bounce. He's super good, especially since it's once per on field. if you just do use his effect early to get some guys back from grave, and then you're gonna link him off to make your singularity, and then he's back on board later. So you still got his bounce for your opponent's turn. So it's very, very good card. And then you also play Access Code. He's Access Code. Not much to say. Easy OTK machine there. For threes, you play your Transcode. It's a Cyber deck. Amazing extender. This is also, unfortunately, an Imperm target or a Veiler magnet. So you do have to be a little bit careful of that. Sometimes you do have enough juice in your deck where you just really don't care. And they just discarded a card for fun, but it's not always the case there. Then you also play Protect Code, the absolute Giga Chad himself. He protects your entire board since all your board is a Link 4, Link 5, and Link 6, so he protects all of them from targeting. He also reborns himself, just an amazing card. And then you play Xcode. Xcode is here pretty much just because he's a wind, so you get to search him, you get to search your Xseed off of the codec. He also is here as a chain block, so when you summon him, you're gonna go, I'll show it off in the combo, but you go codec, and then you go generator, and then you go Xcode, that way your generator and your codec can't get ashed or anything like that. So, good card. He doesn't ever stay on the end board. You're normally actually banishing him to bring back your Protect Code, but he serves his purpose there. For twos, you play Splash Mage. Again, Cyrus deck. This says Special Summon. Good card. You go Splash Mage into Transcode back into Splash Mage. Classic. You play Update Jammer. Goes with your Access Code. Easy OTK. Wipe your board. You play Codetalker Inverted. This guy specials a Cyberburst from your hand. There's a really cool interaction you can do that I will show off, where you go Chainlink 1, Inverted, Chainlink 2, Codec, and then you can special the guy that you summon, or that you searched. And then for the last Link 2 you play is just Vanilla Codetalker. This is kind of like Xcode, where he's just kind of here because his name's Codetalker. Because when you go for the debug lines, you go debug into, you search your microcoder, and then you link it off for Baylinks, and then you go up into this guy so you can get to your codec. So that's pretty much just why he's here. And then for Link 1s, we play Talkback Lancer. He's mostly here for grind game, if you ever need to reborn your access code or something like that. This is your man. And then you play Baylinks, gets you to your Sanctuary, is also probably the earliest link that you're going to be making. And then you play Link Decoder. So this guy reborns himself if you use him as material for a 2300 or more Cybers. So you normally bring this guy back when you make Terahertz, and then the opponent on their turn is going to try and crash the Ibly. Well, you Sanctuary, and then the Ibly is still on board, and your Protect Code doesn't have to go down to 0. It's this guy instead. So very, very... The extra deck is weirdly tight in this. There isn't really much I would consider cutting. If you're playing version... Like, this isn't a U-Link version, but if you're going for U-Link versions, this is not essential. I've seen people play without Xcode and just not play Exceed, which I do that in my U-Link version, which I can show off. But yeah, there is definitely stuff that you could cut if you want to play different versions. Just I have a very Firewall-centric version, so this is the extra deck I do. So then for the side, we play 3 of the Turtle. This is just a rogue killer, pretty much. If they're putting up their own towers, you get rid of them, you hand them this turtle, you say GG. And then to go with that, we play the ball, because we do be balling. I only play 2. You could definitely bump it up to 3. It's never really come up, but in theory, for big combo boards like what I'm playing, this is super good. We played the other 2 rock. It's Nibiru. This is just a lot of board breakers since you already play a pretty decent chunk of hand traps. You play the 2 Storm, and then I also play the 3rd Dusty, just to be wiping boards. You have a really bad back row matchup in this because the only really back row removal you have is access code, so Duster is very helpful if you're playing against Labyrinth, Stun, stuff like that, any purple cards. And then you play 2 Droplets. You could definitely play 3. I only have 2 in here. I never really side this, but in theory, if you have stuff like Dotscaper in your hand, you have Phantom in hand, and you have this guy, you have pretty much have 2 free discards there. And then I play 2 extra crossout targets. I play a Shifter because we hate Shifter in this house, and then I play a ghost spell. This is super cuttable. I don't really know why it's in here if I'm being completely honest. But it's there. You do summon from grave a little bit, so it's not like I just put it in there as like the 15 card. It's just you could definitely put something better here. I just didn't have anything on hand. So that's it for the deck profile. So I will get everything shuffled up and I will show you the main combo that you do. Alright, so we'll get into the combo here. So this is like the main combo that you're going to be doing with this deck. So it's just with your Defensor, any Extender, and any discard. For this, this is an Ash. This could be literally any card, and then this could be literally any Extender. I chose Backup Secretary because it's just a special summon and has no requirement. Make sure I got a Field Center here. But yeah, so literally any Extender, any discard. So we're gonna start by normal summoning your Defensor. This can be any zone, doesn't really matter. You're gonna link him off for your Balinks. Now you're gonna go Chainlink 1 Defensor, and you're gonna go Chainlink 2 Balinks. So now your Defensor is chain blocked. You're gonna get your Sanctuary to hand, and you're gonna special Phantom. So now you're gonna go Link 2 for your Splash Mage, and you're gonna activate your Phantom, which is gonna add your Kodak, and then send a card. Again, could be any card, just choose an Ash. You're gonna activate your Kodak, and you're gonna go Splash Mage effect, reborn either Firewall, Defensor, or Phantom, doesn't really matter. We'll go Defensor for this. Now you're gonna link 3 into your Codetalker. So now you're gonna go for your Kodak, which is gonna add an Earth. You're gonna get Code Generator. You're gonna go Transcode effect, target your Splash Mage, reborn it, and then you're gonna link with your Generator and your Splash Mage. Keep in mind you can only link with these guys from hand as long as you're making a Codetalker, so you gotta be careful of that. But anyway, so you're gonna make a 3. You're gonna make Xcode. Now the chains here are very important. You're gonna go Chainlink 1 Kodak. You're gonna go Chainlink 2 Generator, and then you're gonna go Chainlink 3 Xcode. Like I said in the profile, you do this just because Xcode is your chain block. That way these two are not going to get ashed. So you're going to block a zone with Xcode. Doesn't matter what zone because it's not staying on field. You're going to you're going to resolve your Generator, which is going to send your Dotscaper. And then you're going to get Kodak, which is going to add your Xseed because Codetalker is a Wind. So now you're going to go Dotscaper effect. It's going to reboard itself. And you're going to link 2 with your Transcode and your Dotscaper for your inverted. So now you're going to go inverted Chainlink 1, Kodak Chainlink 2. You do this because you're going to search your debug and you want to be able to special your debug off the inverted. Keep in mind you can only do this if you already have a Cyberus in hand. For this purpose of this, we have 2. You're normally going to have 1 because you search Exceed before this. But anyway, so you get Lady Debug off your Kodak, and then you're going to special it off the inverted. You're going to go Debug Effect is going to add you your microcoder, and then you're going to go link 4 with your debug and your Xcode for your Firewall Dragon, and then you're going to activate your Xseed in hands, special it, and then you're going to go Xseed effect to get the other Xseed. Make sure you have them in these zones. It is pretty important that they're here because of what you're going to do here in a second. So now you're going to go microcoder and inverted for a 3 into Protect Code. You're going to go Firewall Chainlink 1 to special from hand. You're going to go Kodak Chainlink 2 Search a Dark, Chainlink 3 Microcoder to add a spell trap. So you're going to get, oh, I put it over. You're going to get your Ibli, you're going to get your Conflict, and then Firewall is going to special your Ibli. So now you're going to go Firewall Dragon, this Xseed, and your Ibli for a 6. You're going to go for Singularity. And now you're going to go Ibli effect. You're going to put this on your opponent's board. And now you can link 1 with your Exceed for Decoder. And then you're going to go Singularity effect. You're going to bring back your Firewall. And then you are going to finally special your Backup Secretary. Doesn't matter what zone. You're going to go for a 5 to get your Terahertz. Now you're going to go Protect Code effect. Is going to send your Xcode to bring back himself. Then you're going to go Terahertz effect You're going to send your to save worm and go up to 55. It does not get an extra attack because they're both darks. You're going to set your conflict. You're going to activate Sanctuary. And you're going to pass. So from Defensor and an Extender and a discard, you have a Bounce of Singularity, 3 bounces of Firewall, Protection with Protect Code. You have a Spell Trap Negate with the Save Worm. You have a Omni with Conflict. You have Floodgate to your opponent, again, only base Floodgate. You have Protection for Ibly. And then you also have, if they have Out of the Ibly, so let's say they managed to get this off their board, maybe they Droplet or something, you're going to go Singularity Effect, and you're going to bring back your Transcode. So now, with this board, it makes it so this can't be targeted because of Transcode, Transcode can't be targeted because of Transcode, your Firewalls can't be targeted because of Protect Code. So it makes your whole board essentially one big towers, super hard to go through for most decks. This is also assuming no interruption. If you do get interrupted, it does make things just a little bit more complicated, but this is pretty consistent to get to this board. But that's all I have here. If you want me to go over the U-Link version, I can definitely do that. If there's other decks that you want to see from me, I'm a big Phantom Knight fan, I'm a big Punk fan, big Runic for Hire fan. If you want to see any of those, I got those. I can make profiles, combos for those. Just pretty much any feedback is appreciated. Have a good one, you guys.